But anyway,
Yeah.
welcome, guys. Welcome to another episode of On the King's Dime. We are second last episode of regular season this year, and we're wrapping up the Melbourne and the horrible, horrible game in Perth that we played pretty well up until Randall was fouled continuously. Adnam couldn't get a call, and it was just crap. Anyway, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Like us on Facebook. We share all our live streaming on Facebook now. And you can also hear better quality podcasts
through YouTube,
YouTube, iTunes, all the good podcasting apps.
Yep.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, it was a good win on Friday night against
Finally,
Melbourne.
the hoodoo is over.
Oh, so
very satisfying.
Yeah, 1 in 4 wins. Probably could have won all 4 of those games, I think, against Melbourne.
They didn't blow us out, but yeah, we could have won all 4 of those games.
Very winnable games.
Very winnable games. Some great acting from Chris Goulding, who is the world's worst flopper. Man, I can understand why a bunch of Filipinos wanted to punch him in the head.
Not just because of his ponytail. But yeah, no, it was a good win Friday night. It was about 4:00, and I was sitting there thinking, I might go to this game. I'm thinking about it because you said you couldn't go, you had to work. I'm sitting there going, I think I'll go, and I kind of did some chores just to kind of soften the missus up a little bit, make sure I could kind of get out there. It was about
she's
5:30.
She's eight months pregnant.
Yeah, 8 months pregnant. That's always hard. It's about 5:30, and then I'm walking through the middle of the house, and it's just dark. I'm thinking that's not regular dark. That's like apocalyptic dark. Like, what's going on? I went and looked outside, and it was like black. And I'm thinking, no, I'm still going out. I'm still going into this. I'm still going to this game, and then about to go brace myself to go and tell the missus, and then just the rain, and I'm just like, Jesus, what is that going? Look, it's hailing, it's raining. I'm just like, geez, nah, I think I'm out. And then water started coming through the wall, and I'm just like, so I fixed all that up, and then the rain stopped, and then it was about 7:20. I'm like, well, I'm not going to get out to this game, so I just thought,
I don't think many people do. I think many people got bogged down in the puddle that was DFO.
Yeah, DFO was underwater.
Parramatta Road to Auburn.
Yeah, it was underwater, and it was crazy. And I just thought, it's a bit of a good sign. Good
omen. And you know what? People still got out to the game. I watched it on my phone at a work dinner.
Got to do what you got to do, man.
Got to do what you got to do. Got out there and still represented watching the game. But yeah, no, it was pretty horrible outside, and good to see people actually made it out to Homebush. But should get cracking into it. Yeah,
it was a 97-85, so it was a really good win. The first 3 games, like I said, were kind of winnable contests. I thought, here and there we could have beaten Melbourne. This game's kind of similar, where they don't feel like they've got the wood over us, really. Like, when we play,
it feels like a competitive game.
Yeah, it's like when you play Perth, you can feel like Perth can get a roll on, get a rhythm on, and then just crush us. Or Adelaide's kind of similar, but when we play Melbourne, it feels like Melbourne don't know what they're doing, or like, it could be 3 or 4 baskets here, and we'll just fall to pieces here, guys. And I felt in the first quarter they threw a big punch at us. I think they were up by 5 or 6 pretty early, and we were looking a bit sort of ragged. And then we just, relaxed into it. We tied it up by the end of the first quarter. It was 21-all in the first quarter. And I thought they threw a pretty good punch at us, and we kind of sustained it. We just took it and went, all right, we'll come back at that. And a lot of that was Randall. Randall played really well in this game in the first quarter.
Man. Randall handles.
We shot 4 of 12 inside, so 33%, and then 7 of 12 for the quarter, so 35% quarter. That's pretty poor. Melbourne was shooting at 53%, so the looks they were getting were going in.
Yeah, they were good.
So it felt like, we had to ride it out. But once we kind of got on top, like Randall's in the last few games, like we lost a couple of games, so Brisbane, and then Melbourne. Randall's dribble drive games come alive. Like he drives in, he sets guys up, he gets people buckets, Ware's knocking down buckets. We've even pulled out the Bogut lob play a couple of times. I think it's really important that he took 10 or 15 games off, maybe off on just, I'm not going to take the ball and try and do everything with it. Like, he's sort of grown into a role where I don't need to just do that all the time.
No.
I've got other things around me, little things like newly penetrating off a live dribble too, like he was doing that in this Melbourne game. And then the second unit came out and they hustled pretty hard in that second quarter.
This is my gripe. Bowen has a lights out 14 minutes, and that's all he gets.
Yeah.
I mean, Kicker was playing really well. It was hard to kind of take guys off, but you want to give your guys that potentially need those minutes, because what if someone goes down in a final? What if Randall pulled up pretty gingerly against Perth? We'll get to that. But what if we don't have a guy and we need him? We need him to be playing 20 minutes a game. And this is my massive gripe with even in a win, is that Gaze is still so committed to playing time-based rotation instead of matchup-based rotation. And it annoys me to no extent.
Yep.
But somehow worked this game.
Yeah, it worked. Well, Kickett was lights out. I think he was at 4 at one stage. He had 3 threes and then a nice little post Kickett. But it was second quarter where we kind of came to life. We shot 8 of 12, so 66%. 11 of 12, 7 of 11 inside. 11 of 21, 7 of 11 inside. And I think that's where we started to realize that, Randall penetration is getting us a lot of good looks here. And what did he have assist-wise in this game? Just looking at the box score, 6 assists, so 21.6 assists. Like, he's doing a lot more, I think, where he's creating things and people are getting out of his way and going, okay, let him go to work and then we'll get into positions to shoot threes. Like, I mean, David Ware had one look, a 3. We didn't shoot the 3 ball that well in this game, except Kickett, who was 4 from 4. And then Bowen was 2 of 2. And Bowen's starting to feel like if he gets a look at the outside, he's going to knock it down.
Yeah, if he's an open guy, he's at least 50% from an open shot, which is good where you want him to be.
So it put us up 46-39 at the half. And I think it was a 7-point lead. And I kind of got those same feelings where 7 points is not enough, man. If this was 12...
Doesn't it feel like 20 points is enough for this Kings team? It feels like they have a stretch of at least 7 minutes where they can't score every game.
Yeah, it's painful because 7 should feel like 13, really. But 20 kind of feels like 13. Like, it just doesn't feel like enough. It's mainly our second unit that's kind of the problem where, like even Kyle Adnam here is -5 on the night, and even Ray Turner off the bench had 4 points, a couple of jumpers, which was good. Yeah. And when you were talking about coming off the bench and providing energy, scoring energy, and not just like stopping in place with what Pinot was giving us, like that's helping us as well. Like,
yeah, it stems the bleeding rather than plugs a gap. It stems the bleeding, which is what you want. And in certain lineups, Ray Turner can actually be that hustle guy and actually give us a bit of energy and jump and crash the offensive glass pretty well. But in those weird lineups where he's got Lish and Adnam, or Adnam and Randall on and Kickett, and it's all very slow because Kickett's trailing and
it's kind of where our inside defense just goes completely...
Kickett's too slow. Kickett's an offensive player. We have to learn that, and you have to kind of come across and trap his guys because
he's kind of
he gets rolled past so easily.
You've got to trap him between about 3 and 7 feet and just use his body. Like, he can't protect the rim. And then once you take Bogut off the floor, we don't really have another rim protector at all. I mean, Turner kind of tries. Did you get a block in this game? No, he didn't get a block. I think he got one in another game. Maybe
he's only 6'9".
So
he's not really a rim protector build. I think he's kind of that bouncy center build.
It's all energy
hustle,
basically.
Yeah, it's hustle play.
That's something that you earmarked when we saw him in that second Brisbane game where you said he comes off and gives us energy off the bench, and that's kind of important because the second unit is a bit of a mess. Like, there's 4 or 5 individual guys that work, but when you kind of put it together, you've got all kinds of like inexperienced. Kickett's kind of slow. Adnam, it can have a good night, but yet it can get scored on, and that kind of causes problems. And then, it sometimes works and it sometimes doesn't. And then Gaze also has a habit of playing. I was looking at the lineups, and he plays Randall for full quarters and then Lish for full quarters. So I don't know if you can even build a lineup without Lish or Randall in it. There just isn't a lineup that works.
Well, we haven't seen anything of Tom Wilson, and Tom Wilson's 6'3" or 6'4", so he's not an undersized guard. And we haven't really... We saw him preseason. He looked fairly decent.
Yeah, he's kind of a bit like Adnam, but a little bit more size.
Bigger. So you can at least throw a defensive, you can throw a body at someone. So I thought he would have been decent, but Adam seems to be that go-to guy. And we can, look at some of his plus minus this year, and it's not been great.
No.
At times he's looked good offensively, but I think really he does get work defensively. But in saying that, he's had Pinot on the floor, Ray Turner. So there's no that rim protector.
Yeah.
So it's just like he comes on the floor and then Kickett's on and Bowen might be on and, we just get drubbed defensively and it kind of goes on Adnam's stat sheet. And then he really comes off and then it's like, oh, yeah, Bogut's back on. Here, let's pile on plus 10. Adnam's off, Bogut's off. Okay, we're -7 again, So that's why he kind of looks worse than he is. But
so into that second half, it felt solid. It felt like it looked pretty good. We shot 52% in that third quarter, 2 of 3 from 3, which helps. And that was mainly Kickett and Bowen, 11 of 20 from the field. And then we held, like Melbourne didn't shoot many shots. Like they only shot 15 shots, so 9 of 15. I think that we were slowing them down. They were turning the ball over. We were defending really well and slowing them down, which they're a team that loves like quick transition, get really quick. And they didn't look like they had the mental capacity to understand what they were up against and go, like in the last few games, they've gone, let's put a halt to this. We've ground to a halt. And they've kind of been able to kind of arm wrestle back the other way and win the game. In this game, as it went on, it felt like Josh Boone didn't play very well in this game at all. He didn't want to go up against Bogut at all. And I just thought, wow, that's a pretty big win to have one, because he's been scoring really well for them. And a few times he was at the rim and basically, Bogut's there, I'll dribble it back out, toss it back out, somebody else take the ball.
Here's another weird one. When did Venky Joyce enter the building?
Yeah, well, he just came out of nowhere, eh? He was playing.
Wasn't he shooting like 8% free throws at Europe?
At one point, in the first 4 games for, I think it's Rasta Vector he was playing for in the German Bundesliga, and he was shooting 8% from the line, and he'd shot I think it was like 2 from 16 or something real bad. I think he was up to about 25%, but he just snuck in the door. Where'd he come from? What was up with that? I tried to even Google his name, thinking, there'll be an article where Melbourne acquired Vinky. Not even that. I was like, what? What's happened here? He got 2 minutes and then got yanked pretty hard because he was 0 of 2, and then he let Kickett score on him twice, failed rotations. Going into the fourth, we had a pretty handy lead, and then Chris Goulding hit 2 threes, and you just went, get out of here. You've played absolute trash for the entire game, and you hit 2 absolute chalky threes.
He's like that, though. He's that guy that can hit the chalky threes. What I loved was Kickett's impression of him.
It's like the inflatable man. Yeah, that was really, really good. And then, so he hit those 2 threes, and Gaze basically went, Lish, straight out here. And Lish just destroyed him, clamped him up. That was unbelievable. His perimeter defense this season has been an absolute joy to watch.
He's back to some special Kevin Lish, I think.
And shooting the ball well too. It was important in this game. I think he didn't shoot the 3 ball that well, but he does so many things. I think you can see where Randall has adjusted the way he defends because of his lack of size. He's adjusting to getting around screens a little bit more and having Lish help out because he's such a good perimeter. And if they switch, you've got a decent switch there because Lish can play on the perimeter really well. I think that's kind of helped us as the year went on. They've kind of developed a bit of a rapport together, and they're working hard together. And you can kind of see it's almost starting to gel really well. The other thing too, Melbourne were double trapping Randall a lot, and it was basically Kickett came off the bench, and I think his first 3 scores were him running up, setting a screen for Randall, them double trapping, and Randall just tossing the ball out over the top to him to shoot wide open.
Yeah.
And that continued on in the Perth game. We'll get to the Perth game. It was the same sort of things happened. At the start of the year, Randall was kind of struggling with that a little bit, especially with Bogut, because Bogut, if you pass out of a double trap with Bogut, it doesn't really do anything. He can't shoot a 3 ball. He just holds the ball, and there's no bonus for being double teamed. But when Kickett's on the floor, that's his one thing where you pass it out over the top. Sometimes he would come up sort of around the foul line and even get an entry pass into the foul line and be able to hand it off. That's gotten way better in the last 4 games. And I think it's going to be an important thing going to the finals that we get that working properly.
Well, let's just have a look at the ladder quickly because we really need to see who we're going to be playing. So we're third. So it looks like at this stage...
It's kind of not even in our hands.
No, it's not. We've got one game up our sleeve. Look, we're there.
We do or they do?
We've only got one game left.
Yeah.
They've got 2 games up their sleeve. You probably think that we're not going to go top.
Nah.
So I would dare say, going to play Perth.
It could be anyone. It's whoever plays whoever.
Well, Melbourne's playing Cairns.
We're playing Cairns as well. So you kind of think we might be due for just a shock loss in that game where we just, we're home and hose, guys. We had a shock loss. It happens,
Yeah.
Because we're pretty much locked in to finish top 3.
We're locked in to finish top 3. It's just, I can't even see across the...
The NBL website's pretty bad.
Fucking terrible. But yeah, Melbourne plays Cairns, so you've got to think they're going to win that game. Perth plays Adelaide. You're probably going to think we're going to play Perth in
I think we're going to finish third and play an away series against the second team. So it'll be whoever wins out of those 2 games.
Which is good because we seem to be playing better away than we do at home.
Yeah, it feels like it. But this Melbourne game was, it was an important... moment in our season, sort of towards the end of the season, where we could go, that's a good benchmark to set. We not only played well, we looked really sharp after a little bit of time off too, which was good. We executed really well, and executing on floor stuff, not necessarily gaze related plays. We did run a few good plays after timeouts and after stuff like that. Bogut got a couple of good lobs. We even run that elevator play for Kevin Lish, who passed out of it, and then Kickett shot the 3, and then Goulding fell over, and I was just like, mate, you don't need to fall over.
Slap the Goulding.
So it was good to see, that's impressive. That's a sharp, seeing us sharp like that, it was like, this is good. We want to see more of this. It was good to get out there and play a team like Melbourne and see a performance where we went, we're looking sharp. Against some of the other lower teams, we get those performances and you kind of go, but it's the Breakers. But we hadn't really had a performance against the top, say Perth and Melbourne, where you could go, oh wow, we played really, really well in this game and we executed really, really well. I guess whoever we play, it's going to come down to execution. And I think we got a nice balance in our team. It's just about Randall, how well he plays, and he seems to be coming into form. Bogut is Bogut. Lish has been defending really well. David Ware's even knocking down 3s here and there. And then Newley getting to the rim. He's got to get to the rim off a live dribble more, man. He shoots 3s and they're kind of just don't shoot 3s, man. Just try and get to the rim. That's your shtick.
Yeah.
He can shoot a 3 ball, but a lot of the time you're sitting there just going there's no one in the lane, man. Just pump fake, put it on the floor and get to the rim.
Yeah.
You're so good at that. But in transition, he's always deadly. I guess, I kind of straight away thought long flight, quick turnaround, we'll probably lose against Perth.
But we came out swinging.
Yeah, we started the game really well. I always, all through this season when we've had these short turnaround games, we come out swinging and you're just thinking, we're going to run it.
We're going to fade, yeah.
Kind of did it against Illawarra, and I think we did it against New Zealand at home after coming back.
I want to put a disclaimer, ready for the salt and sour grapes that are about to come ahead, because that has to be some of the poorest officiating in a professional sport I have ever seen in my life.
It was pretty bad.
It was FUCKED. It was nothing short of horrendous.
So,
and not just on the Kings side. There was a period early in the fourth quarter where everyone was just getting axed and no one was calling. And then Bryce Cotton got a finger touched on his arm. It's oh yeah, that's a foul, 2 shots. And it's someone just tackled someone 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
And you didn't call it. Or Randall gets axed off a 3 by Cotton and doesn't get the call.
The guy was right there too. He's standing from me to you away and just goes, I'm like, come on, how can you not see that? It was so obvious. There was even a couple of times where someone was standing on the baseline and caught the ball and passed it out. You can clearly see he's standing over the baseline.
Yeah.
And the ref's even looking at it he's what are you, how do you miss this stuff? So it's just kind of amateur stuff. I think at the end of the season, there has to be look, let's throw some money at these refs and get them into some sort of program where we make them better. We work with them to make them better.
Because they kind of like, they have a little bit of a smug arrogance about them as well. Like,
I'm kind of...
because like, well, you were bullied in primary school, weren't you? That's why you're a ref now. You were definitely bullied in primary school.
You weren't good enough to play.
You weren't good enough to play, and you never picked, and everyone called you fat. Now you're reffing, and you're getting your payback, and you're 5'3", and have short man syndrome.
Part of me, I like a referee to be like that. Like, you want the ref to be like that because that's how, if you're confident in the calls that you're making, that's how you want the ref to be. But you want the ref to be able to distinguish things, be looking at the right things, make the right calls.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they start doing that...
Sometimes they're watching no man's land. They're watching...
Yeah. Sometimes, like, you'll get a play and then you'll go back and you'll see the replay and all three of them are, like, looking at the ball and then they've missed the guy traveling in the lead up to it and because they're all looking, like, up at it. So there's things like that. Like, there's things they need to clean up.
Yeah, I think they need certain... Like, I mean, the NBA does it pretty well. They get some calls wrong in some nights, but they do it pretty well in general, and they're kind of they strive to make it better. But consistently, we have seen these NBL refs be terrible. Yeah, like terrible, like basic calls. You know,
and I've watched a few of the other games too, where it's bad as well. Like, it's the same kind of bad where you just I'm now just like look, we need to get these ref standards up.
Yeah,
like it's not a. They don't like Sydney or they favour Perth in
bad
Perth.
All around.
It's just bad in general. And that like I sent that text to you, I'm like, well, what do you do? Like, I don't like. Sometimes I just think, how can you go out there and play in a professional league and respect the refs when you know they're making bad calls all the time?
Yeah,
like, it's just like
I think they need specific laws and rules around what at each job. Like one ref is responsible for looking at on ball. One ref
What's supposed to be.
Yeah, but they don't. They're just all looking at the ball,
just
going,
look at the same thing.
"Oh wow, Andrew Bogut's done something."
Or like we had in that other game where the guy goes, "I don't know, he made the call, whatever he said," and you're just like, you've got to have an idea of what's happening. You can't just stand over the side not paying attention. Anyway, so there was that. But then on the flip side, we blew Ray Turner blew a dunk. Like, come on, man! Like, lay that in if you don't have the jets to make that. Like, come on, man, that's poor. Then Bogut, like 2 hands, man. Like, come on, like, you can't blow 2 of the exact same oops. Like, exactly the same, basically, one hand. And that's his shtick, but man, you're getting old.
Look, I have to give it to Angus Brandt. He played really well. He played well. Back down, didn't kind of stand up. Tariq White was pretty shocking, 4 from 13.
Yeah, but Bryce Cotton throwing up threes. Like,
yeah, they were just jacking up. What are they? They were the threes. They were 9 of 38.
I think at one point they were like 1 of 20. Like, it was terrible.
Yeah, and we were 7 of 25, which is still pretty shocking.
But that's kind of a low. Like,
yeah, but Newley was jacking up threes, and Newley should just give up on the 3 ball. Be a slasher. Be what you were born to be. Give up on the 3 ball. You had your good stint in the early season. You got to let Ware and you know, Lish and Randall have their 3 ball moments. Even Adnan, but Adnan was minus 15 on the night.
And Kick at minus 16. It was mainly in that stretch at the end of the 3rd and then at the start of the 4th where they stayed on the floor, basically. Because I went through today and they don't do like lineup based plus minus or any lineup information. So I went through the game by game like a nerd and went through and mashed them all up in a spreadsheet and put like plus minus. And basically they all went from, you know, it was Turner, Bowen, Kickett and Adnam went from like -1 to -12 in that little stretch at the end of the 3rd and the start of the 4th, which is where they made their run and basically tied up the game. It's another thing where once the bleeding starts in the bench unit, all you can really do is bring back your starters.
Yeah.
So in a coaching sense, second game of a back-to-back type thing, you're not really going to bring back your starters straight away.
No. And Randall looked pretty dicey coming off the late 3rd, early 4th. He really looked like he was cramping up in the glute.
Yeah. In the glute
heel.
Yeah, he looked like he had a hip problem or something. And then in the post-match, even Gaze said, I don't even know what was wrong with him. And I'm just thinking, geez, good connection with your players there, Gaze. Like, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
But, you know, we started well. Like, we just can't seem to hold leads, man.
Why does Gaze look like a bad used car salesman? He's always sweating.
He's always sweating.
He's just always... He's
like
the
a
most
TV
emotive, unprofessional
Yeah, he
coach in the world.
He's like a TV
Come
presenter.
on, boys. Yeah.
Like Costa or someone like that. Like always doing these ones. Like, you know what we got to do today, boys? Like he's like it should be on the ABC or something. It's really weird.
He just looks like, dude, he's wearing suits. Like, he looks like a homeless used car salesman that wears suits from, like, the 80s that don't fit properly because he was slightly fat back then and can't afford food now.
But, like, half of me goes, there was some bad coaching there, but half of me just goes, man, second game of back-to-back. Like, what are you meant to do? Like, we've wrapped up finals. You don't want to throw the kitchen sink at a game. Like, maybe you do. You do want to throw a kitchen sink at the game.
I think that we needed, I think with the fact that
it's a dice roll, man.
It is a dice roll, but I think we needed to get that done because we had Cairns coming up, and that would have been nice to land. We might have been able to gain home court advantage and use that, but not to be. We're still in the finals for the first time in a while. Bogut had a relatively good game, 16 points, 15 rebounds. No blocks. Newley had 2 blocks.
Yeah, Newley had that chase down. That was a really good block timely too. David Ware had a similar one where he chased a guy down and blocked a guy. And then, Bryce Cotton in the fourth quarter after just being trash all night, just
lights it up.
Stomping around like, oh, man. That's kind of probably what did it to me because if it was... They won the game, right, and it wasn't him just lighting it up after being trashed for 3 quarters, I probably wouldn't have got that emotionally invested.
Yeah.
But it was just like, why are you stomping around, man? Like, you've been terrible. But like I said to you, like, I'm sitting there just thinking, man, Bryce Cotton's done nothing. We're going to be puffed at the end of this game.
Yeah.
Is this going to happen? Is this really going to happen? And then he hit those 2 threes. And then he got like this foul, like reaching for a layup where kind of barely any contact. I was thinking, what? Like, how does he get calls? I don't understand.
9 of 23.
Yeah.
5 of 14. And, I'm pretty sure it was like none of 10 at one stage.
Yeah, it was 0 of 10, and then I think it
4
was
of
4
16.
of 18 or 4 of 17 or something
and then
like
just,
that.
starts getting on it.
Hit his next 5. Good on Perth, whatever, man. You can have that one.
Have that and put it to the bank, but, bit salt from the terrible officiating.
Yeah, it was bad both sides. I got to admit, like, Damian Martin played really well in this game. He hit that clutch 3 at the end. That was a good 3. He's not a well-known 3-point shooter in terms of knocking it down 16% in this game. But he knocked that down. And then I thought we could have executed out of that timeout. Like, we advanced the ball where you have an option now if they make a basket where you can advance the ball and take a 14-second shot clock.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were upset where we didn't dribble the
inbounded.
ball up.
Yeah, but they would
a couple of times we've done that and we've just given the ball away.
Yeah, because they high press. They would have just high pressed.
Full court press, man.
Yeah, that can go right off. But yeah,
you could do one.
You can shove that where the sun don't shine.
I kind of went, it's fair enough. I would advance the ball. Randall with the with the handles and the dance into the lane. He'd hit 2 of those floaters, but it's still for me. It's like a no. Yes, shot. Yeah. It's
they should have run a play. They should have run a play. They should have a double screen maybe for Lish.
Like one of them Bogut oop plays. They blew to
a backdoor cut. Like, the problem is you're watching Gazy in coach's corner. He's just like, okay, boys, when we have nothing, the weave is really good. Get them moving. It's just like, yeah, but you're just moving in a figure 8. Why don't you start running around in circles and go from corner to corner? Like, you have to look at guys like Steph Curry and the way JJ Redick do. They keep running. They just kind of go weave. All right, Randall's. All right, everyone out the way. No, keep moving.
Yeah.
He will drive in and you can backdoor cut and it's an easy dunk, And
I think we had one of those. I think Randall had a pretty easy layup. He seems to be the only one, or Bowen seems to be the only one that does that. Like, they'll sort of collapse towards the paint, use someone as a rub screen and pull their man away and get behind and like arrive wide open at the hoop. Like, they seem to be the only 2 that can do it. Like, Ware can't seem to do it. I'm just like, come on, Ware. Like, you're a 6'11" forward. Like, that's the perfect play for him to be able to screen a guy, like, wait for his other man to screen and draw and see when he commits and go to the hoop. And we saw that in preseason, but we just haven't seen it at all during the season. We did get one of those, I think, really early on. Lish had one. I think it was assisted by Bogut. But Randall, I think, was our standout on the night. 25 points, 10 assists, double-double. I think he had 7.7 assists in the first half. Like, he was phenomenal, shooting the ball really well. I think he's got to stay fit for this final series. Otherwise,
very
we're
much
in
so.
some serious trouble.
Serious.
So I haven't heard anything. Have you heard anything on his injury status?
Nothing yet. We'll keep you up to date. We'll put a post out there just in case we hear anything in the meantime. I'm sure everyone will be following that very closely. But we go up against Cairns this week, and the last time we'll see Big Nate Jawai and Bogut play off for the year. It's always a fun matchup.
Yeah, I love watching Nate Jawai. This should be interesting. Cairns, nothing to play for. We're 3-0 against them.
Yeah.
I can just see this being one where the Kings go, whatever, take it.
Yeah, well, they're not going to get... Again, I think it'll be based on what happens on Friday night, and if there is that ability to play for, maybe blow them out and sneak into that second spot. But if Melbourne win, there really is no point, and they should just play their backup unit and give everyone a rest kind of thing, or just play some interesting lineups, because it doesn't really matter if we lose. Adelaide's not going to pop into third.
Yeah, they can't get there. So they've got to play Cairns on the 14th, Valentine's Day. When's that? Tomorrow?
Saturday?
Nah, 3 days. Thursday. So they play them Thursday. Perth play Adelaide Friday, and then we play Cairns Saturday. And then that's it for the year.
That's it for the year?
For us. In terms of regular season stuff. So who do you think will be the best matchup?
Best matchup for
us in the semi-finals?
Melbourne.
You reckon Melbourne?
Yeah, I just think that Cairns get hot at weird times. Perth get hot at weird times.
Cairns get so hot they win 12 games and make the finals.
Yeah.
Perth, yeah. I don't know. I think Casper Ware has had good and bad games against Randall.
Yeah.
And then Cotton kind of seems to have had only good games against Randall. Casper Ware hit this 3 in the corner, this absolute fluky fade step back to bring the game within 8 or something, and then stood in front of our bench
yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you just scored to bring your team within 8 and there's 2 minutes to go. What are you doing, you fool?
Ego twat.
I'm just so Randall's so humble, man. It's just been so good watching him this season, and I hope he's not injured. It's gonna suck if he's out for any kind of time, but we haven't heard anything.
Haven't heard.
But yeah, I think Melbourne's probably the team to play. But then again, it's a dice roll, really. Melbourne can beat us, and then Perth can beat us. So it's kind of pick your poison. Who do you want? Whatever. I'll take either team, because winning against them will be sweet. And then obviously whoever that we play in the final, it's kind of
I'd much prefer to play Melbourne in the final than Adelaide for some reason. I don't know. Adelaide's just scrappy.
Yeah,
Sobe's just
I can't
annoying.
stand Sobe. Yeah, he's just like a little skip rat. Can't handle and it's kind of kryptonite stickers for our team too.
It is, yeah. It's that weird, and two bigs that can play the elbow. Just much rather Bogut against Boone, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, or even Bogut against Brandt. And who was their other big? Steindl came off the bench for Perth.
Yeah.
Who was it? Pro stuff here on the King's Time.
Kay
didn't play very well.
No, he didn't
at all. So hopefully, we'll get through that Cairns game, be sitting pretty at the end, and then I think, Melbourne will play whoever, and then Perth will play whoever after that, and then we'll just
take it as it comes.
Yeah, be waiting there.
All right, guys, should we wrap that up?
Yes.
Thanks for listening.
Not as much salt as I thought.
Yeah, I thought it'd be saltier, but it's just we've made the finals. It is what it is. You got to win 3. You got to win 2 games anyway, so. Might as well win against Perth or Melbourne. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for watching too.
Another live stream complete. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you want. Like us on Facebook. That's always good. Keep up to date. Hopefully we'll get out on Saturday to the game.
Yeah. Be your first of the season.
Be my first of the season. The little man's a little bit older now, so having children.
Bring your 6-month-old. How old is he?
4 months.
4 months. Yeah, he's about when the season started.
And I've had less sleep than anyone. I can tell you.
It's going to land just outside the season, I reckon, which is good.
Enjoy winter with a newborn, buddy.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
All right, guys.
Thanks for watching, peeps. Take it easy.
See ya.